Last time, I said we would see how far we could fly on borrowed wings. And by borrowed wings, I mean our AC, borrowed wings. Borrowed wings here is nearly a one-to-one recreation of Raven's AC, Nightfall. The major difference with Nightfall and Borrowed Wings, that Borrowed Wings has the Finder Eye head that we started with, because we cannot actually get the headpiece that Raven uses just yet. Believe it or not, I have actually done a fair bit of practice using Borrowed Wings via my other save file. Because this is not an AC that is easy or intuitive to use. It has a ton of resources if you get into the right mindset, and it can deal some serious damage thanks to the Ashmead, but it is so hard to use. And if you take a look at that 299 boost speed, it is not getting a ton of speed out of the deal even. Personally, I don't care for the AC much at all, but we're going to see how far we can get with it. I have done some practice on these missions, so, you know.
Here's the job, 621. You'll be going into that underground facility, Watchpoint Alpha. I managed to talk Arquebus into letting us lead their survey. They jumped at the chance to use an independent mercenary as their canary. Balam has already barged in, taking several red guns and MT squads. Seems they want to be ready for a run-in with Arquebus's new firepower. You'll start by descending through Depth 1, a vertical chamber sector. It's likely you'll meet resistance from autonomous defenses left by the PCA. The worst of them is lurking at the bottom, Nepenthes, an energy weapon platform. Heard on the grapevine that it already turned half of Balam's forces to ash. Don't want to end up like Balam after all. Tread carefully.
Given I spent so much time talking about this AC, I guess I should actually describe some of how it handles and the weapons we've got. We've got the Scudder, which is the second level assault rifle. We've got the Ashmead, of course, the Songbirds, which we should be familiar with by now. Some dual missile racks, then our standard starter AC body. We've got the P10 boosters. These are just bad. I don't know why Raven uses these, but they do. The Abbott FCS, which means this is a close range AC almost exclusively, which is wild. It would be so much better with the Talbot instead of the Abbott, but this is Borrowed Wings. We're doing it the way Raven does it. Likewise, we're using the Ling Tai generator, which has almost no capacity, but extremely fast recovery rates. It means that you'll get basically all of your stamina back very soon after touching the ground, but you don't have a lot of stamina to play with. Personally, I would try to run this some way with I don't even know. Ideally, I'd want to get the Ming Tang on here, but as you can see, not enough weight capacity for it. Maybe this really is the best option for such a lightweight frame. But again, this set of equipment is not really getting us a lot for how lightweight it is. We're not getting a ton of quick boost out of it. We're not getting a ton of default boost speed. It's just kind of a handicap, which makes it so much more impressive that Raven does so well with it.
Watch point Alpha. My brothers and sisters. They're deep inside.
You ready? You'll be going down deep, and there's no guarantee you'll come back. Counting on you to reach the coral.
Main system activating combat mode.
Commence mission. Access the elevator and take it down.
So for this mission, we basically just need to fall down a hole and not die while we're doing it. There are lots of AC builds that can do this pretty trivially. This is not one of them.
Watch out! Below you! That's Nepenthes. It's clearly a force to be reckoned with.
AP at 50%.
We got hit by one of the missiles, not good.
AP at 50%.
It's okay if we take a bunch of damage falling down.
I'm picking up
This
any
next part is
signals
going to be
nearby.
much easier.
Containing intruder. Commencing
Oh, we
termination.
missed. Good.
You're clear. I'll find a way to get that partition open. Stand by for now, 621.
Over there. I've sent you a marker.
This AC and Nightfall are really good at dealing with small enemies, actually. And we got a piece of the Ephemera set, which is would basically be cheating if it weren't so ugly.
Nepenthes. It's named after an extinct genus of plants. They were rather unusual. You should look into them sometime, Raven.
Did you find an access point? Good job sniffing that out.
Unauthorized access detected. Transitioning to phase 1.5.
I'll leave looking into the Nepenthes plant as an exercise for the viewer, because I don't really want to do it. Right, one of the big keys to this section
It's
of the
changed
game
its combat routine, Raven. Watch out for those plasma missiles.
is that if you are not touching the left analog stick, you fall much faster.
It's tracking you, 621.
Evasive action.
And you pretty quickly get a feel for how many times it can fire in a row. So long as you're up against this railing right here, you're usually safe.
You've got it in your sights now, 621. Just need to get a little closer. You're up close now, 621. Destroy the target.
Raven, it'll be easier to immobilize if you aim for the neck joint.
Here we go. Oh, we missed. Well, didn't miss with that.
Overriding Depth 1 defense plan.
The Nepenthes artillery platform is silent.
Confirmed. Target destroyed. Mission accomplished.
But yeah, once you get to the bottom of this
Let's rest while we
hole,
can, Raven. We've got a long road ahead of us.
this is not a difficult mission. And there's the ephemera legs. The legs are probably the part that looks the best.
No new messages.
Okay, and one more to go. Underground Exploration Depth 2, which accounts for, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes of practice. This is a real mission.
Here comes the follow-up, 621. You're going to be exploring Depth 2. The sector's made up of a sprawling rail network designed to transport resources. It'll be a complex route, with a lot of blind spots. Be ready for close quarters combat.
Raven, there's something you should know. I've obtained the comms log from the Balam squad that went in before you. It looks like they have another mission here, and it's not part of their survey. Guard mechs won't be the only threat. Balam's agenda is just as dangerous.
Okay, here we go.
Just so you know, 621, my radar won't be able to reach the lower depths. You'll have to trust your eyes and ears.
Main system activating combat mode.
Let's go, Raven. This is where the survey begins in earnest.
A big part of why I like Chapter 4 so much is because it's just kind of one big dungeon crawl for the most part. And we'll get a few missions that'll just start right where the previous mission ended. And I think that's just a really cool vibe. Yeah, the songbirds make quick work of these guys. As do the Ashmead. Or do the Ashmead? As does the Ashmead.
According to the structural drawings, the route continues past this partition. Looks like the power's out. Let's find a way to bring it back online.
Okay. And before you drop down... Oh, must be a different room I'm thinking of.
An ambush!
Been waiting for you, Raven. You're gonna die, traitor.
Sounds like you found Balam's MTs. Eliminate them, 621.
Damn you, Archibald.
Control panel identified. This should get the power back online. The elevator's back online too. Let's take it back up to the upper level.
Okay, we've got an STV sketch number 3. Awful bunch. Never again. I don't actually know who this refers to. Even applying the knowledge I've got from New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus, I'm not sure what group that is.
The partition should open now. See if you can get access.
It lets us right up here.
The heat exchanger section's up ahead. This is around where the comms log for Balam's advanced squad cuts off.
Been waiting for you, freelancer.
That AC. It's Headbringer.
So yeah, Iguazu's here for some reason.
You're my ticket back above ground. Let me tell you, I'm sick and tired of this pit. It'll all be over once your sorry ass is dead.
Will it? I don't know why you think that.
Years. Not now. That quack messed me up. Learned some new tricks, huh? I know you're laughing at me. What makes you so... This isn't over. Next time, I swear I'll...
Confirmed. Gun 5 Iguazu down. Being trapped down here, it's dangerous.
To answer the question you didn't get to finish, Iguazu, the thing that makes me so special is that I'm good at my job. So yeah, Iguazu just kind of out of nowhere decides he hates you at this point in the game, which is why I've been consistently bringing him up in the episode descriptions.
Defense program phase 2.0.
And yeah, those lasers can hit you.
Threat level 7.
So normally, I would just fly down there using my assault booster,
Watch out.
but I can't because the boosters are so bad on this AC. Here's some data at least. Professor Nagai's log number 1. Coral is an organic substance capable of self-propagation. The speed at which it proliferates is determined by the density of the colony. As such, a vacuum would provide an ideal environment to maximize coral density and thus growth. However, one must not overlook the signs of mutations within the coral brought about by this density effect. It is mutations such as these that will bring about a collapse that humanity has no hope of controlling. Oh, looks like that was close enough to force it to flee. Well, it's convenient for us. Less convenient for us is that.
Intruder proximity to critical sector confirmed.
We've got a couple log hunt targets over here. They're just regular MTs. There's nothing special about them. But they got logs. Oh yeah, and we do have this. Gills, which is a booster that goes with the Ephemera set. If I remember, Gills is a booster set that is designed for unmanned AI weapons. So it's got really obscenely high performance quick boosting.
Looks like we're not far from the terminus. Let's find the control room. We'll hack the systems and get the partitions open.
But I don't like it as much as the Alulas because it's just not as efficient.
Let's look for a ventilation duct. We're underground. There must be one somewhere.
You can jump down this path if you'd like. Or you can just kind of go over this way for a little while, and then a little while longer.
Ventilation duct identified. Looks like it's connected to the control room.
So this room pulls a rude trick on you. It's those lightning guys. or electricity discharge guys, I guess you would say. I believe that's all of them. Reload. We've got another treasure chest here. This is another ephemera part. And if you thought there was just going to be one set of electric discharge guys, you were wrong. Actually, those may not have been electric discharge guys. They might have been just regular laser guys, but there's still a lot of them.
We're in the control room. Now let's find an access point.
So here's a fun little bit of game design. Hey, you know that scan button you almost never use? It can detect deactivated MTs, remember? So it's just a good idea to maybe pre-kill all of these MTs. Alright, that's all of them?
That's the control panel. I forced the partitions and the elevators back online. The defense system is onto us, but we should be able to proceed.
Yeah, if you don't pre-destroy those MTs, you have to fight all 8 of them at the same time. Alternatively, if you know what's going to happen, you can activate the button and then assault boost back into this room to get to the elevator before anything has the time to drop.
Seems like smooth sailing, 621. As if you hardly need help from me. When do you get so good at exploring?
I've actually got a PhD in exploration, Walter. I figured you would have known that from reading my file. And yeah, there's a second Sherpa in this stage. I guess they figure that you probably got hit by those lasers previously, which do deal a ton of damage. Speaking of a ton of damage...
I expect that defense weapon will be waiting for us. Be careful, Raven.
I don't think this is going to be a shock to you, but there's going to be a boss fight behind this door. I'm going to explain this now because I won't have enough time to explain it when it's actually happening. The very first thing you need to do in this fight is assault boost directly to your left or right. Very first thing. Here we go.
Intruder detected in closed sector. Defense program phase 3.0. Switching to termination mode. Terminating target.
Okay, get out the way.
That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint centers and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
The only way to dodge that laser effectively is by using Assault Boost. If it uses the same attack during the rest of this fight, it's way easier to dodge.
50%.
For reasons I don't know. Maybe it's tuned differently. Maybe it's just the range it's effective at.
AP at 30%.
Yeah, Enforcer's got some really dangerous melee attacks. Generally, we want to make its propensity to melee work for us, but can't always do that.
AP at 30%.
Not doing so hot this run.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Yeah, we're definitely going to die this attempt. Yep.
Termination complete. Resetting defense phase.
Enemy analysis complete.
So, believe it or not, I did a fair bit of practice against this specific fight
It was
with
designed to defend key
Borrowed Wings.
and eliminate enemy intruders.
It was the majority of my practice that I did, just because this fight is already pretty difficult for a lot of builds. If I had a shotgun, this would be basically trivial, but I don't. And the specific weaknesses that Nightfall and by extension Borrowed Wings have are things that really favor our boy here. But if we can get him cornered, we can deal a ton of damage very quickly, just because of the way that's basically what Borrowed Wings is designed to do.
AP at 50%.
It's way more effective against an AC, where getting a lucky hit with the Ashmead can mean you completely bypass an AC's healing. That's simply not a thing that you can do
AP at 30%.
against a boss like this.
Phase 3.5. Panic healing. Release of
Okay.
reconfiguring energy draw and maximum value.
Too late on that.
Terminating intruder.
You can usually get a free
at 50%.
stagger
Raven,
at that
you're
point in the
only
fight.
one who can complete this survey. Walter believes in you, and so do I.
Come on. There we go. We're basically done here, I think.
No repair kits remaining.
Ironically, the second phase is much safer than the first phase, because it's much less likely to use the pulse gun, and more likely to make stupid melee choices. There we go. Ashmead for the win.
Confirmed. Enemy unit is silent.
It's a fun fight.
Walter should have some data on the next sector. Let's take a break for now, Raven.
Borrowed Wings is a fun AC when you can make it work for you. And there's the guilds and the ephemera arms. You might notice that the ephemera parts are actually the parts of the Institute ACs we've seen, sometimes wrecked in missions. Oh, and this is where we get the Mailander C3 parts, which are the parts that Iguazu uses. Like I mentioned before, they're just a lightweight version of the Mailander parts.
No new messages.
And up next, we've got the third depth of underground exploration,